Okay guys, over here on this side of the workbench, the first thing that I'm going to show you is I have a little container. And earlier I talked about having a lot of tips for the super glue on hand, and I have several different types in here. I have a real thin one, I have a kind of a pointed one for thicker super glues. I recommend that everybody have a few of these on hand in different sizes for your different consistencies of super glue, because they really make it a lot easier to apply your super glue products. So I keep them in this little container. I keep some extra caps in here for the super glue containers. I also keep a lot of pins, regular straight pins that I can hold stuff down in case I need to do some woodwork or something. I can hold some stuff down just like building model airplanes. I can put the pieces together, put a little Elmer's glue on them, stick some pins in it into some piece of cardboard, and do work there. I also, another thing that I do is every time I install a wired decoder and I have to shorten the wires, I keep pieces of the decoder wire in here. Why? Because it's very thin. I don't know what gauge it is. I'm going to say it's 30 or 32, maybe something in that area. But I keep it because you can make small connections from inside of a locomotive to a light or whatever you need to do. But this wire comes in very handy down the road, so I just keep a little bit of it in there. Next over here, something everybody can't live without, a butter dish. And a butter dish lid. I use this to do all my paint mixing on. This one in particular, I squeeze out 2 or 3 colors, and I can run them together and mix them together, and you can see that it's highly used. I always have a few brushes sitting in the water here. Well guys, here I am again. Sorry about that, I overtalked my battery. Anyway, so much for the brush cleaner and so forth. Up here I have a few razor saws. I have them in different coarsenesses. I hardly ever use these, but I have them just in case I need them. My assortment of glues, my little horny-toed buddy, everybody should have one of those. He's kind of my mascot. I actually have 2. There's a little guy right there. Everybody should have at least one of these because they bring you good luck. Another thing that everybody needs on their workbench is a flashlight. I have a little flashlight here because we all drop stuff on the floor and we all have a hard time finding it, and this makes it a little bit easier. And you never know when you're going to have to look into a locomotive or into a structure or something that you're working on. I have some lubricants up here. I have my glues up here. I have some Solvacet. This happens to be an extremely old bottle of Solvacet, but I prefer this. It's a Walther's product for setting decals. I have some grease, and I have some powdered graphite. Everybody needs a couple of pair of scissors. This one for cutting wire, this one for cutting decals and window film, anything I need to do. I have a broken sheath knife here. It's a cable splicing sheath knife. All I do is remove staples with it. That's about the extent of it. Not very fancy. I have several of these calipers. I found out once I got a couple of these, I found out that you can't hardly live without them if you want to know how big different things are and make things precise. I would recommend that you, even if you go someplace like Harbor Freight or something, buy you even an inexpensive one of these. You'll find that they're extremely handy after a while. I have a little rack up there that holds phosphor bronze wire for soldering in pickup shoes or on locomotives, whatever I need to make out of it. It's real, it wants to retain its shape, so phosphor bronze is a real good wire to use if you want to make something springy. I also, down below here, I had several sets of tweezers. I have some really fine points. I have some angled points. I have a little bit fatter points, more fine points. I have some that are like alligator clips that actually hold closed for holding different things. You can see that I've actually painted this one a little bit. The Woodland Scenics one for holding small people and so forth to get them attached down to the layout. And hemostats, I guess these are called. Anyway, you can hold different things by closing them and applying a little pressure to an alligator type jaw here. I have 3 or 4 sets of those here. I have Walther's Goo. It's another adhesive I forgot to mention. It's very good for holding stuff in place. Once you put this on something and let it dry for about 24 hours, it's going to stay there. It turns into like a real thick rubber type bond. It's very good bond that this makes, but you have to kind of be patient because it takes about 24 hours for this to cure up good. I have a little bit of squadron putty back here. I don't use it very often, but I do use it occasionally. I have this little bank of drawers up here. All I house in here is my coupler conversions. The only drawer that really has anything tool related in it is this one here. And this has stuff in it that everybody needs. You need to keep a bunch of toothpicks on your workbench for applying glues, and even lubricants can be applied with toothpicks. I use these cotton swabs with my alcohol to clean wheel rims, clean things that I get paint on that I don't want on. I've used them for that. Rubber bands to hold different projects together. Just my little junk drawer. Aside from that, the only other thing that one needs on a workbench is some good lighting. I happen to have a little fluorescent tube here that was on the bench when I got it. This fixture was on the bench when I got it, and I used one of the new CFL light bulbs in it because they don't get so hot as an incandescent, so you don't have to sit here and roast when you don't want to roast. Aside from that, you've seen just about everything. The only other thing I have on the bench is a stapler, because when I do decoder installs for people, I put their old board from the locomotive in the bag, seal the bag back up with their decoder instructions and so forth. So I keep one of these handy. Aside from that, that's about all that's on the workbench. Now let me take you over here and show you where I just keep my materials and so forth. Okay guys, I'm back. One of the things I forgot to mention about your workbench, and probably you all know this already and probably already have one, but the importance of a comfortable chair. I have this chair here. I happen to have found this. It's a locomotive seat, and I actually found it walking the railroad down near the Mexican border. Not everybody's lucky enough to come across one, but I found it laying in some bushes. I don't know what would make a guy mad enough to throw it out of a locomotive, but it was there. But anyways, let's move on to where I store my stuff. I have these 2 cabinets here. And this is basically where I keep everything else. I have a few detail parts and stuff stored in here. I have all my Plastruct stored in here. I have some loads and things in here. I have some wire stored in here. Some locomotive boxes that I haven't put away yet from things that projects that I've done. A lot of decoder paperwork in here. And that's pretty much it for this top section here. Over here, you'll see that I have a lot of, these are car boxes with cars in them that I haven't actually put on the layout or anything yet. One of my cameras, a lot of molding materials, kits that I haven't started yet, basically in there. And by the way, I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but yes, I am a Jeff Gordon fan. Down here in the bottom, let me adjust the camera here real quick so you can see down here. I'll be right back. Okay guys, down here I keep these little plastic bins, and I have, you name it, it's in here. Extra parts for cars. These are automobile kits, like road apples and so forth. Anything automobile related. A box for decals. By the way, in your decal box, if you have a box like this, and where it's not so bad in our climate, but you guys who live back east know about humidity, if you get a piece of clothing or something that has a desiccant bag in it, keep the desiccant bag, and always take those extra desiccant bags and throw them in your decal bin. it'll keep your decals from the moisture from attacking your decals. These are all, this one happens to have locomotives and locomotive parts in it, several motors and so forth that I've salvaged out of older locomotives. Buildings in the process of being built, some kits that are not in boxes, more detail parts, more building kits. All this is mostly building kits. There's some loads in here, and these are paints that I just don't leave on the workbench. Enamel type base paints and so forth that I don't use, I use very infrequently. I keep them down here. On this side here, I have this whole bin here is full of locomotive detail parts, little pieces of bits of wood and plastic and so forth in here. Electrical box full of electric switches, anything electrical related for the control panels, whatever. Some small gauge wires and small wires that I keep here. I have weights and extra tools, anything that I have duplicates of, I save them in this container here. This one has rulers, pens, and pencils. The only reason that that's important is if you like to draw layouts out on graph paper, which is the way I prefer to do a lot of layouts. So I keep a protractor, I keep all kinds of stuff in here, French curve and so forth for doing layout design on graph paper in this container. Light fixtures and light bulbs. I have street lights and lamps and bulbs and so forth in here, and this particular one here contains animation parts, any kind of little gear mechanisms or anything I find, slow motion switch motors, anything to do with animating something. I put them in this box here. And pretty much what you've seen is everything I have that I use in the construction of the models inside the house. So you've seen it all here inside, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you organize your workbench and give you some ideas of tools and things that you need. And I'm thankful to Rod and Lowe for suggesting that I do a video on this, because I know there's guys out there who really don't know what they do need. And I'm not saying it's everything you need, but it's the majority of things you need. There's a lot of specialty tools that are out there that I don't particularly have or use all the time. But that's the basics, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. We'll see you next time.